We're going to deviate just a little bit from what my script says, so I'm sure I'm going to hear about this later, but that's okay. It is my, before I introduce our speaker today, Dr. James O'Rourke, I would like to ask him to come up to the podium. I have an award for him. Jim? It is my pleasure to award the Distinguished Service Award to James O'Rourke in recognition of exceptional service to the college through volunteer or leadership efforts. Dr. O'Rourke, many years ago, or maybe not so many years ago, is the person that helped establish the rangeland management program on our campus, and for that we want to provide you with the Distinguished Service Award. Jim?
That makes it real tough, you know. I must have swallowed a frog. My family homesteaded in rangeland country in the Panhandle of Nebraska a long time ago. My granddad was a cowboy on a spade ranch in the Sandhills. My dad was a range management specialist with the Forest Service. My wife, Laura, was a range management specialist with the Forest Service. My oldest son, Chuck, is a range management conservationist for the Natural Resource Conservation Service. My mother taught home economics for a time. My sister and her husband are full-time teachers. What option did I have but to teach range management? Huh? But this honor would not be possible without the support from my family. With my wife, Laura, and our children, well, this is tough, guys. Seth and Shannon, please stand. The tremendous amount of time they spent filling in for me at the ranch while I was off putting in volunteer time with my professional societies that you're all going to hear about here in just a minute. But you know that it really all makes it worthwhile when I look at that building up on the hill. When I look at the expanded number of faculty in the range science program here at Chadron State College, and when I see the great number of students in the range program here at Chadron State College. I was in a conversation a couple weeks ago with people in the accreditation committee for the Society for Range Management, and they just finished going through a review of one of our, what we think, or used to think, were the premier schools in range management. And they were concerned about low numbers. And one of the people on the committee said, well, we need to rethink what low means. She said, you know, most of the programs anymore only have 30 students. We don't have programs with 100 or more students anymore. Chadron State College has 137. And of course, that program wouldn't exist without the complete support from the entire Chadron State College community, from administration to faculty to students. So, two huge thank yous, one from me personally, and one from the range management program at CSC. Thank you very, very much.
Now I get to introduce him again. Today's speaker, Dr. James O'Rourke, is the father of the rangeland program at Chadron State College. He had the vision for a program of greater proportions when he joined the faculty in 1998 and worked tirelessly to make his dream a reality. He has been a member of the International Society for Range Management since he was a sophomore in college, advancing to become president of the organization and receive 2 of its highest honors, the Fellow designation and the Frederick G. Renner Award. He has been equally active in the International Rangeland Congress, serving on the board of directors and 5 years as president, a time period which included numerous trips overseas to plan for the international conference in China. Currently, he is based at CSC as the executive vice president for the IRC. Dr. O'Rourke is one of the 4 certified professional range managers in Nebraska and is in demand to conduct rangeland health assessment for the Natural Resources Conservation Services Conservation Stewardship Program. He is also president of the steering committee planning for an International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists, a designation that he and other international rangeland leaders hope will be made through the United Nations. Please join me in welcoming Dr. James O'Rourke.
Thank you all very much. I think you can see from the past comments that I think that professional organizations are extremely important. So today I want to visit with you a little bit about professionalism. Final exams are just finished, but I hope you realize that exams are never over for you. In fact, you're going to be tested for the rest of your life, and we're going to start it right here today. I'd like to engage you in a little bit of a self-evaluation. Now, I'm going to ask quite a few questions here today. I'd like you to think about these questions and answer them to yourself. I don't expect a written hand-in or anything. I think you're probably down the road a few hours from now. But I want you to think about these questions. Answer them to yourself. So the first question is, how many of you have a job upon graduation? How many of you have a profession? How many of you have a job in that profession? How many of you belong to your professional organization? A professional organization seeks to further that particular field and the individuals who are employed in that field. If you're not engaged, you're going to fall behind. And if you want to be a part of the decision-making process for your profession in the future, you've got to be involved. You've got to stay involved. You know, a friend of mine likes to ask the question, are you pulling the wagon or are you riding in it? If you're not a member of your professional organization, I would suggest that you're riding in the wagon. Now, every field of study that every one of you are involved in here, and I might say, I should have said at the beginning, these questions are primarily for the graduates, but that doesn't exclude all of you in the audience to think about these same things. So every field of study has at least one professional organization. I'm going to read off a list of those organizations that pertain precisely to those of you sitting right here on the floor this afternoon. And I hope that you can answer that you're a member of at least one of these professional organizations. So in art PK-12, the National Art Education Association, the American Institute of Graphic Arts, the American Advertising Federation. In biology, the Nebraska Academy of Sciences. In business administration, basic business education K-12 and general business, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. Business Professionals of America, the National Association of Business Management Professionals, the American Marketing Association. In Communication Arts, Public Relations Society of America, National Communications Association. In elementary education, K-8, Science 7-12, Special Education K-12, and Mild Moderate Disabilities, K-12, the National or the Nebraska Education Association. In English Language Arts, the Modern Language Association. In Family and Consumer Sciences, the American Association of Family and Consumer Sciences, the National Association for Education for Youth and Children. In Health and Physical Education, PK-12, the Society for Health and Physical Education. In History, 7-12, the American History Association. In Justice Studies and Criminal Justice, National Association of Legal Associates, the Academy of Criminal Justice Sciences. In mathematics, the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, the Mathematical Association of America. In music and music PK-12, the Music Teachers National Association, the Nebraska Music Educators Association, the National Association of Music Merchants, the American Choral Directors Association, the National Associations of Teachers of Singing. In the physical sciences, the American Chemistry Society, the American Association for the Advancements in Science, the Geological Society of America, the American Association of Petroleum Geologists. In the psychological sciences, the American Counseling Associates and the American School Counseling Associates, and the American Psychological Association. In rangelands management, the Society for Range Management, the Wildlife Society. In sports and recreation management, the National Intramural Rural Recreation Sports Association. And in technical occupations, the Association for Career and Technical Education. A bunch, huh? Think about that. I hope that all of you are a member of at least one of those. Now, in addition to that list, there are a lot of trade associations. There are trade associations associated with every one of your technical fields. And in addition to that, there are the local needs. School boards, extension boards, Rotary, city councils, county commissioners, the list can go on and on. Membership in an organization is usually based on two personal goals. One might be to rally to a cause, and the other is to engage in some level of self-improvement. Well, what are these causes? What does a professional organization do for society at large and for you? I think you can answer these questions, or at least start to answer some of these questions, if you look, for instance, at the vision statement of a professional organization, which might read something like, a well-trained and highly motivated group of professionals and users. You might look at the mission statement of that organization, which might read simply, providing leadership. You might look at their strategic plan goals, which might read, advocacy by promoting public awareness of the field, encouraging investment in the advancement of knowledge in the field through research or applied experience, membership development through conducting conferences and training sessions, publishing journals, newsletters, websites, and other information transfer techniques, the maintenance of standards by ensuring that knowledge disseminated is based on sound science or experience. And maybe most importantly, you ought to look at the code of ethics of a professional organization, which might read something like, promoting competence in the field by supporting high standards of education, employment, training, performance, and recognitions. Managing or performing services consistent with the highest standard of quality, integrity, for the benefit of whatever your professional organization is. Disseminating information to promote understanding of and appreciation for the values of your profession to those who with a direct involvement in your profession and to the general public. Offering professional advice or assistance only on those issues in which one is informed and qualified through professional training and experience. In any communication, give full and proper credit to and avoid misinterpretation of the work, ideas, and achievements of others. Encourage the use of verifiable information in management decisions. I'd like to ask you where you will learn about the advances in your profession if you're not involved in a professional organization. By attending their meetings, by attending workshops, by reading their journals, by reading their newsletters. And I'd like to ask you, if you have a job in your profession upon graduation, is it because you're a member of your professional organization? Is it because you've been attending meetings of that professional organization? Is it because you've been rubbing shoulders with professionals at those meetings who are looking to hire bright, young, or not so young, graduates like yourselves? Is it because you've worked summer times in a job in your profession where you have the opportunity to impress professionals who are hiring new graduates? Highlighting your membership in a professional organization indicates to people who are employing you that you are dedicated to your career choice. I can't overemphasize that. When someone is looking at an application for a position, I would hope they're looking strongly at whether or not you're a member of your professional organization. And faculty, I have a couple of questions for you. How strong will your letter of recommendation be for one of your students who is not a member of their professional organization? Is that person truly a professional, or does that person really have a profession? And parents, I'd like to ask you, have you been subsidizing the education of a person who has a future truly in a profession? In range management, when we try to identify smooth brome grass, we look for a W on the leaf. Now, if you stand on your head, or if you pull that leaf off and turn it upright, you'll find an M. Now, I'm all about turning over new leaves, but I think that we need to be careful. If in turning over that new leaf, we are creating a me generation instead of the more desirable we generation. Take the leaf's message and start on the road to professionalism. Thank you.